It's an interesting experience to be interviewed. The hard part for me is deciding what to talk about. There's so much.
Well, just thank you for the opportunity. I think it's my privilege.
I hope that what I say and that what came to mind and the experiences I decided to share, of all the experiences, were, the right ones, or the ones of value to whoever's going to look at this.
I was born in 1931, the depths of the Depression, but of course I didn't feel the Depression because I was too young. I was born in Utah, in Salt Lake, so I was born into a big city life.
I was born in 1932, also in the depths of the Great Depression, in a small town in Kansas called Randall. Population probably 150.
The grade school that I went to is the same grade school that my mother had gone to, and my first son also went to that grade school. I just do recall how different it was then, because we always went home for lunch. Everybody was required to go home for lunch. If there was some special reason that you were not being able to go home for lunch, you had to bring a note to bring your lunch.
One thing I remember in the third grade, they used to have spelling bees, and we had a contest in our school, and I won the contest. And then we went to the county seat where they brought in kids from all the other schools in the county, and we had a contest. And my teacher was one of the graders, so she was there. In fact, she and some other lady had taken us up there. And I'm winning the contest. It was easy for me. Spelling was just so easy for me. I could just sound it out and do it. And I started thinking, it's getting late. What if they decide to leave and just leave me here, So I deliberately missed a word and got disqualified. I finished third, I think.
My father is Vance Herbert Goodman, and he was born April, I'd have to look it up, but it's April 1912 in St. David, Arizona. And he was second of, I think, about 8 kids in that family. And they were farmers and ranchers when he was born, and lived in the San Pedro Valley. We were there right at midnight. They had the timers of the parking lot lights set to go off. And we were still dancing, and all of a sudden, we didn't know this, but that it was going to happen, but the lights went off, got dark, very dark, all of a sudden, and we stopped and looked at each other, and then we had already been feeling the vibes that we liked each other. I gave her a kiss on the lips. Right there, second date. And then we saw each other every night. Every night. For the next 26 years.
We were engaged 2 months later and married 4 months after that.
Wow.
It was quick.
And it was right. It was the right thing.
He was a really good man. The fact that he had stayed home, given up a 4-year scholarship at BYU, to stay home to help care for his mother and the other 2 kids that were left at home, spoke very highly of him. And he was a hard worker. He was very studious in his school, and very spiritual.
My parents were missionaries, and I grew up in Congo. I don't know the demographics now, but at that time there were 500 tribes of the Congolese people, and each tribe had their own lifestyle and their own language. Kind of like the Native American Indians did. When we came back to the States, my mother had breast cancer. She had had 1 surgery, and then it ran into complications. And that's why we never went back, because she only lived 2 years after we came back to the States. But during that time, I was with her a lot, and I frequently had the caregiver role. And I've always considered that one of the sweetest privileges of my life, because my mother was not only my mother, but my dearest friend. I had 2 little plaques on my bookshelves for years. Of course, I don't have my bookshelves now, but they were just little 2x4s. And one of them said, "In everything give thanks." And the other one said, "For this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you." And this is a good illustration, you know. Give thanks for the situation. Good things come as well as difficult things.